We're out in Willow Canyon in the Tonto National Forest in Arizona. It's a quite windy day, so we're glad to find this little area in the canyon to kind of hide away to do this video.
In a previous video, we talked about the criteria and priorities that we use when looking for short-term campgrounds, 1 to 2 days while we're traveling en route to a destination.
So in this video, we're going to cover the criteria that we use to determine which parks or campgrounds we'll stay in for the long term, meaning a month or longer.
For long-term campgrounds, the first criteria that we're going to look at is the price. Now, a lot of RV parks will offer a substantial discount for a month or more stay. So we need to look at the price, because if it's too far out of the budget, then we're definitely going to just eliminate it and go on to the next one.
That's for sure. Another thing to ask about is, does that price include utilities? A lot of places are not going to include utilities for a month or longer for long-term stays, but we have found some that do. And another thing about the utilities, if they don't include them, you want to find out, do you have to turn them on yourself with the local electric company or what have you, because there could be deposits required there. So just kind of make sure. A lot of parks are just going to manage that themselves though. Yeah,
and another deposit that you're probably going to have to pay is for actually reserving the site, because you're probably going to be doing this in advance rather than on the fly like when you're traveling. So find out what the deposit is. Is it refundable or non-refundable? Is it applied to the rent when you get there? So deposits, definitely you want to put those into your budget consideration. And if you have pets, make sure that if they have a pet deposit or an extra, some have a small extra fee for the monthly rate if you do have pets.
Yeah. Next up is site, the actual site that we'll park in and stay in. This is very important. We want it to be level, of course. We have been to some that are very difficult to get our RV level in, even with automatic levelers, so that's big. Another thing that's very important is I like to have a back-in site, not a pull-through for long term, and there's a few reasons for that. One is, typically when you're backing into a site, a lot of times you're backing up to maybe some woods or a lake or some other kind of scenic view, and we have a very big window in the back, and we like to look out and see all the scenery and wildlife sometimes, so that's very good. And a lot of times if you're in a pull-through, it generally means that you have a road in front of you and a road behind you, so you're going to have traffic on both sides of you. So back-ins are usually something we opt for.
Yeah, and we want some place that's going to be relatively quiet. We're generally not going to pick the site that's right next to the restroom or right next to a trail that's going to go through to get that, or backs up to the freeway or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Quiet is nice. And another thing is that we'd like a little bit of privacy if we can get that. That's very difficult to come by, but if there's one side of the RV that might not have anything on it, maybe it's on an end and we don't have to share that yard, so to speak, that would be wonderful, just to have a little place that we can put a couple chairs and have a little private sitting area. That's nice too.
Yeah, and another consideration is sometimes the side of the road, or the side of the road in the park that you're on, will depend which direction you're facing, north, south, east, or west, and you may want to take that into consideration if you're in a particularly hot climate, because if the sun's going to be beating on the side that your refrigerator is on, the ice cream's probably not going to stay frozen. So what direction that you're going will make a difference.
Yeah, we definitely look for shade at times or sun at times.
Yeah.
So that's important too.
Another big consideration is going to be location. If we're staying someplace for a month or more, chances are we're going to have to be doing some work in the area, whether it's holding seminars or doing some work camping or whatever, and we definitely don't want to be too far from that.
Right. Yeah, and another thing is safety. We've heard of some really nice parks and read a lot of very nice things about their amenities and just different things about them, and then find out that people are saying it's a good thing there's a fence around it because there's all kinds of crime going on in the area. So it's nice to know the surroundings, the actual location that you're in, that it's going to be safe too.
Yeah, and if there's grocery stores in close proximity, shopping, supplies, things like that, that's definitely a bonus.
Something else that's important to us for determining long-term stays is the amenities. Now, these weren't too important in the short term, but in the long term, they do make a difference. And one of those is that we have full hookups. And that usually means for us that we'd like 50 amp service, which allows us to run all our air conditioners if we need to, or whatever else. We like it to have the sewer and the water as well. It's not fun to have to hook up periodically and drive out and go to a dump station, so having full hookups is really good.
Yeah, and since we don't have a washer and dryer in our RV, a laundry facility on site is very important.
Yeah, we like that rather than having to go out in town, but we have found some really nice ones out in towns that we didn't mind too much, but typically it would be nice if they had a nice clean one located within the park for the visitors. We also care more about internet in the long term, and this could mean good Wi-Fi at the park itself, but more so than that, a lot of times we've contacted the local company that provides internet services so that we can get greater bandwidth, a better connection like cable or something. And we've found that we a few times have been able to get no contract and no deposit even for the service or connection fees and things like that. So we try to work out one of those deals, and even if we were only staying 3 months or 5 weeks or something like that, that price could make the difference for us to have full high-speed internet. So that's another thing that's very important.
Our final criteria is the area attractions. What is there to do in the area? We like hiking and visiting historical sites, so if those kind of things are in the area, that's definitely a bonus.
Yeah, the more of that kind of thing, the better it is for the long term. And we also like water, you know, rivers, streams, lakes, being near the ocean, that kind of thing's always a bonus. If you have any criteria that you'd like to share, feel free to put it in the comments area.
And don't forget to share and subscribe.
Thanks for watching.